starts on our ends and then say, "Hey, everybody." That's what I
I
want
don't
to know.
know. It leaves like that 30-second gap where
We
you
just
don't know what's going
breathe in heavily, awkwardly. Oh, wait. I think we can say "Hey, everybody" now.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Welcome back to
everybody.
This
Welcome.
is Thomas here with Alex Shilchenko, and we are going to do some game dev today.
We will. Today is Monday. Monday's a rough day. I've been sick for a good chunk of last week,
Which would explain the lack of streaming.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm sorry. I was a human.
I don't think there's really anything to apologize for.
Okay. So today we're gonna kick off the week with something slightly different and slightly, hopefully more exciting. Every one of us, or maybe most of us, have this one project laying on a hard drive that you worked on for a bit a year ago, and then something happened and you never worked on it again.
You get a job or...
Yeah, you get a job like a loser and never work on something fun again. That was a very depressing thing to say.
Go
you
out,
get a job
go
and never...
Go Team Optimism.
never work on anything exciting again.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so this is something that I had laying on my hard drive. I worked on it with Bob, one of our star guests that joins our streams once in a while. This is a mobile game called Rockety Skyman, and what it's about is about being this rockety flying jetpack man, and the game is all about getting from point A to point B and dying in very, very horrible ways. Because in Rockety Skyman, everything kills you. So
if you don't land on your feet, you're dead.
Yeah, that's the summary. And and you have to constantly manage your fuel because you run out of fuel, and you have to collect tokens, which is placed in these very painful locations. So you have to go into additional challenge, and then that's what the game is about. And it's also, did I mention everything kills you? Because like everything kills you, and then your limp ragdoll body is just falling down, all the way down. And you can use tokens to respawn from the checkpoints, and then checkpoints get more and more expensive the higher up you go. So that's pretty much it about the project. And the reason we are talking about this today is because I actually want to ship it. I want to put it on App Store, because there's like the game is like, most of the mechanics are in, most of the well, not most, but a lot of the levels are designed and ready to be go away, Trello. Ready to be put into the actual levels and be shipped. So today I'm gonna do a little bit of a playthrough, like the way I am right now, and talk maybe a little bit about mechanics, and then maybe Tom can contribute and throw some ideas around, and we'll just do a little brainstorm session. How does that sound, Tom?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So we have platforms. We have refuel platforms that refuel your engine. There's also these fans that have force. So if you, I tried but I died. All right, you can see fans can use wind to basically screw you up, and which is cool. Then I hope I'm good enough to make it to the next level. What I like about this project is that it's purely the level design for it is really simple. It's just the placement of these contraptions and basically being creative with the limited amount of assets that you have. And it's also very abstract, so there's none of that tedious kind of making two things align together, and none of that type of work. It's mostly just having fun and then playtesting it and balancing out different traps. And because it's all also purely based on a mechanic of moving around. Oh look, my dead body just got a token. That's cool. All the additional traps and contraptions are pretty easy to make. So it could be like a floating spike that kills you, or it could be a floating ball that kills you, or it could be a box that kills you. Yeah, there's tons of creative opportunities here. And we could also, just time box it and spend a week on it and see how far we can get it to shipping.
Yeah, I think it really screams for some procedural level generation as well.
Yeah, and so one of the ideas, like early on into this project, Bob and I, we were trying to decide whether we want a procedural level generation versus a hand-placed assets. And I was all for actually manually placing this, because that, for me, the level design is a big part of it. And the problem with procedural is there's a lot of fuel management and in this game, and if we go fully procedural, it's really hard. Damn it! It's really hard to balance something like that if you're doing it procedurally. But the most recent idea that I want to try is having a procedural set of levels, something more like an additional mode, like infinity mode, where you just fly without any fuel, without any additional sets of restrictions, and you just fly and have fun avoiding obstacles.
Yeah, or maybe have the fuel bar auto regen.
Yeah, or damn it. Or fuel can be regenerated by collecting fuel canisters instead of landing on a platform and refilling it. Sort of like a what is it called? Jetpack Joyride? Is that the name of the game?
Sure.
Yeah. I think it was called Jetpack Joyride, which was, I believe, it was procedurally generated, mobile, same type of a game. But yeah, so in terms of art style, we're going for something really minimalistic. Oh crap! I made it. Oh wait. Okay, I made it. So very minimalistic art style, using flat colors. The main character right now is literally the Unreal Mannequin, with just a flat black shader, which I'm totally fine with. I like the idea of the character just being in negative space, so everyone can imagine themselves as a protagonist of this incredible game experience. Did you see what just happened?
I did.
I don't know if I don't think you can hear, but there's like this crackling, juicy bone sound whenever the character collides with a obstacle, which makes it particularly fun to die. Yeah, what I was talking about, I forgot. So see, I ran out of tokens, so I can't respawn. So now I can only restart from the beginning. And so one of the things that I want to implement is when you don't have tokens for the most expensive restart checkpoint, you restart from the one that you can afford. So basically, if you keep screwing up and you keep running out of tokens, if you don't collect them, you start gradually you get pushed down in this ladder, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And right now, basically, it forces you to start from the start if you don't have enough tokens. Which is fine, but it can be a little bit frustrating because, sometimes...
Yeah, I think also if a token is on a platform, similar to how the checkpoints and the refueling works, if you're on a platform with one of the things, you just get it. You don't have to hit it precisely.
Yeah.
It might be nice to me. I mean, still have the tokens mid-air that you have to intersect, but if they're on a platform, they should be guaranteed as long as you hit the platform.
Well, you can, technically, you don't consume much fuel. You can just do, a little bit taps to, just jump a little bit.
Yeah.
So now, I talked about art style briefly. User interface is something that needs to be refined. We didn't have too much time to spend on UI, and the main menu needs to be created. The tutorial needs to be refined, so there's a lot of UI type of work, which is fine. Another thing that I would probably consider doing is right now our background is using the Unreal Skysphere, which is a really complex shader, and I think it can be simplified significantly, and we can just literally use just one big card and create our own shader that is not as complex as the Unreal Skysphere.
Yeah, like you just ran out of sky.
Yeah, and I think so. My initial kind of plan for this game is I wanted to have it to be basically infinite and release chunks of the level kind of as we go, but I don't think that it's needed anymore. What I want to do is create different levels. So the desert is your initial kind of starting point, and you need to travel from point A to point B. And when you reach point B, you unlock the next set of challenges that are thematically different. So right now I'm standing kind of at the transition point. You can see we also created interior set of environments. Damn it. And then I died. We also need to make the restart button appear sooner, or come up with a system that shows it. Oh, okay, never mind, that works. My big problem with the way this game works right now is that there's interior and exterior all in one level. And the transition between them is very, very jarring thematically. The puzzles are different, and it doesn't feel right. At least in my opinion. So what I want to do is just have one level, which is just a desert, and there's certain challenges, certain puzzles, and then you start your interior level, which is more claustrophobic, and it has a completely different set of challenges. And then once you complete the interior, you unlock the infinity mode, which is something completely else, more procedural and less handmade. And I think I feel like that would work better, because I think I already clarified.
Yeah, I think you punched that one.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, or even I think you could benefit from doing some, instead of focusing entirely for procedural to the infinity mode, to actually intersperse procedurally generated chunks inside of existing zones. Because that's where you'd want to build your rule sets as part of existing levels, and then combine all of those to make your dynamic environments.
Yeah.
Your entirely dynamic environments.
So yeah, what else is there? There's a few obstacles. There's a few more ideas that I have for puzzles, or for the obstacles. for example, I want to have a large gate that are closed, and the only way to open them is to pick up like a little battery that creates like this energy orb around you, and then you can fly back to the gates and kind of hover at a certain point to power the generator.
You know what? That's totally what this game is lacking right now. Is power-ups.
Yeah, and we have some power-ups planned. Why did it explode? I think the laser is screwy. It exploded me even though I was too far away. And that's another thing that this game is lacking. A little bit of debugging. Oh god, okay, so I can only afford one more respawn here. So in terms of controls, I don't think I mentioned controls. It's a mobile game, so the way it works is that you press your finger on a screen and you pull away from the character, and the further you pull, the more speed you have. One of the more advanced things that I'm still debating whether we should explain it in the tutorial or not. And the answer is probably that we should, because it's a mobile game and people have very short attention spans. The faster you fly, the more fuel you burn. So you could technically hover and burn almost nothing in terms of fuel.
Mm-hmm.
So the game is much easier to play when you realize that this is an option. So you can just hover and wait for a certain obstacle to pass by, and then you can, start slowly proceed further. I watched a lot of people play it because I had it built on my phone, and whenever you're in a bar and you talk to other game designers and you're like, oh, play my mobile game, and whenever they play it like this, just like woo.
Yeah, 100% all the time.
Yeah, and and like they fail and then they keep failing, but one of the kind of the part of the charm of this game is that we spend quite some time making sure that dying is fun, and that you can when you die
Chuckle.
You chuckle. It looks funny to watch you ragdoll just like into the infinity. So dying is like Dark Souls, It's a significant part of the game. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to balance it in a way that it doesn't become too frustrating.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's going to be a big part of it. So yeah, I think
I would. I honestly, dude, I think I would implement a passive power up that you can find.
Yeah,
that's basically just a rewind, so that if you die, it consumes the power up that you have, but you go back to the last platform you were standing on.
So
with the same fuel and everything.
It's funny that you mentioned it, because like it kind of ties directly to that whole replay mechanic that I was talking about, because I want to be able to share replays of your death on social media. So I don't know if you played, but there's a bunch of racing games by Codemasters, the Dirt Rally and Grid. I don't think it's Dirt Rally, but like one of the dirt games. But the mechanic they use for these racing games is literally when you're racing and then you hit an obstacle and you fuck up, you press backspace or whatever, and you can rewind back and start playing from the area before you fucked up. So I wonder if it can directly be connected to that whole replay feature, and maybe instead of checkpoints costing money, you collect 10 tokens and then you have a one rewind. Or something like that.
Well, I like the checkpoints, and I like the escalating cost of checkpoints.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it would be cool
Just an additional 8.
Yeah, and I think the way that I would do power-ups is if you if you land on a fuel depot, but you only have 1% fuel left, that gives you like an achievement that spawns a new power-up in the level somewhere. And if you have a super near miss to a platform, that gives you an achievement in it, and it activates a power-up in the level somewhere. Or like if you die 6 times within 10 seconds, like look at the data of what's going on. Yeah, there you go.
I'm gonna move the player start so you guys can see some of the other levels, scenarios that we built here. Oh, I think I know what the part of the problem is. I have my exposure fixed at 0. I'm not gonna play interior because interior, that's the part that Bob built, and I need to really kind of go through and give it like a nice design pass because it still feels very difficult to play. So yeah, let's show the spinny platforms. So that's the part where you play after you So the spinny platforms are awesome. They float in the sky and they spin. So one of the things that I wanted to mention is I can't. I just can't. Okay. Oh, there's also a bug when you press restart. Sometimes you die on restart, which is really frustrating. So, the interesting part about this kind of the level flow in this game, and it kind of directly ties to fuel management, is technically if you see an obstacle that you don't like, you can literally just fly around it.
At the cost of fuel.
Yeah, 90% of the cases it's gonna cost you a lot more fuel and you can see I ran out of fuel. But yeah, I watched Patrick, one of our patrons, play it, and he would be like, screw it, I'll just cut a corner, and a lot of times he was successful at it, just flying around the obstacles, but a lot of times he was also just run out of fuel. So the trick
the trick is to get clobbered in the face.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Okay. I hate this bug where okay, let's try this again. The trick is
to get inside there.
Yeah. And now you can never gets old. So yeah, every obstacle has a little bit of a there's a trick to it, or at least that's how I'm hoping to design them. We definitely need walls on the left and right side, so you don't just fly into infinity, but you actually collide with the walls.
Yeah, I would kind of take a page from Tower Fall's book there, and give everything a little, just much more frequent boundaries on the left and right. Like still let the player make the decision about avoiding obstacles and all that.
Yeah, they kind of need to be far enough that you can fly around, but not too claustrophobic. And that was a big disagreement to the level flow. Bob wanted to build more of interior levels, where I like the freedom of flying around the obstacles if you want to. God, this is... Maybe we shouldn't work on this game. Maybe it's too difficult for a human being to ever succeed at. Okay. Come on. think my player start is a little bit too close to the ground, that's why he dies. So I'm gonna do this. Literally.
Choose
Really? That was so simple. Yeah, so like a part of the what I want this game to be about is like user repeatedly bashing their head onto the certain puzzles and like trying to discover different ways around them. And I think with your replay pickup ability, I think it's gonna kind of help with that process, kind of trying things, and then if it doesn't work, try it again. Because right now we have just the tokens that help you respawn closer to the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a little bit too challenging, because a lot of times there's no way to build these levels in a fair fashion. You know, it's only fair for a person who actually built them, because then you know how they're laid out. But if you're playing for the first time, you're not gonna always know where the shortcut is, right? And then there's asshole.
That one is hauling ass, man.
There's like asshole designers who do shit like this, where it's just like, come on, and like I don't have even any fuel. Yeah, I totally ran out of fuel, and there was no charging station around. So I would even maybe think about a refuel power-up that completely just refuels your engine when you pick it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or like a parachute that activates if you do run out of fuel. And
yeah, like you have a secondary fuel tank that completely fills it up when you run out of your first one.
Yeah.
And
and a football helmet.
We could definitely use a shield power up.
Yeah.
And I had something else, but then I got hit in the head and I forgot what it was. Shield the
Yeah, and you can always. I mean, like, there's always the time slowdown thing.
Yeah, like a slow motion thing. The thing is, if like, what's to me what's so interesting about this the level design and like the flow of the levels is that if you give players something like an infinite fuel or like a secondary tank that lets them just burn the fuel and be less careful,
they're even more likely to die.
Yeah, they're even more likely to die. Because, like, look at me. I just died because I was less careful. It's one of those games that you can play for 10 minutes and then get really frustrated. Or if you're in a mood, you can play it for... But yeah, so this is pretty much what the Rockety Skyman is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rockety Skyman.
Rockety Skyman. Do you have anything else to talk about today, Tom?
No. I'm actually kind of excited about getting in there and maybe crafting a few of these power-ups and playing around with, like, I think like a parachute that doesn't refuel you, but like if you run out of fuel, it tries to steer you back to the last fuel depot.
Well, that might be kind of challenging because like how do it get...
No, I'm saying like it slows your descent down and doesn't kill you, and it gives you time to get to the last fuel depot, but you're just as likely to like get hit by something on the way down again.
But what if you... So big challenge here is what if you land on a platform that doesn't have a fuel depot and you're out of fuel? You can't take off because you don't have fuel. What happens then? That's why, like, that was another big question is like, what happens when you're out of fuel? If you just land, then you're
I mean, the
stuck.
parachute would only have like 5 seconds of activity.
Okay.
And then once the parachute goes out, you're dead. That's it. If you haven't refueled, you're dead.
Another thing is, so the power-ups that you collect, are they activated with a click of a button, or are they all...
I think we'd want to design them all around like they either activate in the second you pick them up.
Yeah, or they're passive.
Or when you die.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think we want to give the player any more buttons to press.
No, it's... yeah. And yeah, I'm hoping depending on how successful Bob is with the build aspect of it, maybe give the build out to our Patreon subscribers so they can play test it.
Yeah, I think we got it working.
Yeah. Is there like so we have it for iOS? Do we have it for Android? Do you know?
That I do not know.
Is Android a totally different beast state?
I mean, in my experience, it's a little bit more complicated to get the builds working for Android, but you can build them in Windows, so generally it's faster that way.
Or we can even just give them a Windows build, really.
Yeah, you should play on the desktop. I mean, it plays fine with the mouse.
Yeah.
And, we could hook up the controller. You can play with your left thumbstick.
Yeah, I'm hesitant about focusing on things that I guess it wouldn't be too hard to add, but whatever.
I don't think it takes anything away from the game to have it playable on multiple platforms.
Yeah. All right, guys. Should we call it a day and start working on this? Actually,
I'm ready.
Hmm?
I'm ready.
Alright guys, this was it for the Monday stream. We'll continue with some more updates on this project and Bandit game as well. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Alright. Check out the YouTube video and remember to give us a subscribe there on YouTube and follow us on Twitch. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.